When the body of a 16-year-old girl was found deep in the woods of Payson County, Utah, police thought they were investigating a suicide, but they would soon discover they were wrong. We're joined now by David Begnaud in New York with a report on your 48 hours investigation. David, good. How are you, first of all? Let's get into things here.
Hi, John.
Why were authorities considering this a murder and not assisted suicide?
Well, they weren't considering it a murder. In fact, when they first got to Payson Canyon, which is in Utah County, Utah, they thought it was a pretty clear-cut case of suicide. They were processing it as such, and then all of a sudden this young man comes walking up the hill and he says to one of the detectives, "I think you want to talk to me. I know something that you probably want to know." And even then they were a little unclear as to what he was talking about. But at the foot of the victim in this case, they found a cell phone video. And when they watched what was on that cell phone video, it shocked them. And these are guys who've been doing this, processing crime scenes for 30 years. But that wasn't all they found. They found some text messages, and the pairing of the text messages and the cell phone video is what led prosecutors to say this was a crime, and we believe it's tantamount to murder.
How long had the two main players in this, how long had they known each other for before this all happened?
Not long at all. Jchandra Brown, the victim in this case, had moved from Idaho to Utah, and she met Tyrell, I want to say 7 or 8 months before she died. They weren't even very good friends. They weren't in a romantic relationship. They kind of knew each other loosely. But Tyrell had a sick, twisted fascination with death, and Jchandra had some depression that she was going through. And the combination of the two of them together proved deadly. In fact, prosecutors told us if Tyrell wasn't in the picture, we believe Jchandra would be alive today.
Yeah, would Jchandra have completed the suicide without Tyrell's help?
Prosecutors don't think so.
Interesting. This also speaks to a larger issue about mental health issues. This is something that gets addressed nationwide, needs more work on it for sure. How many teenagers really do struggle with this from your studies?
So I want to read you the specifics here. Studies show that 20% of young adults suffer from a mental health disorder, be it depression, anxiety, or bipolar disorder. That's about 17 million young people in the U.S. And Utah, by the way, has one of the highest cases of teen suicide. They're like number 2 nationally, I believe. So it's a real problem there. And Jcandra's case is so complicated because there's a note that led police to believe it was her decision. But then there was that video and those text messages, which caused prosecutors to say, oh, no, 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 this was not just suicide. This, we believe, was murder. But could they prove it?
Well, that is all part of the 48 Hours investigation and the story we will be seeing on CBS later on. David, thank you for joining us to talk about the story. We're looking forward to seeing it.
Thank you, John.